Howdy.
Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you. Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama. Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go? Jamaica, off the Florida Keys. There's a place called Kokomo. That's where you wanna go to get away from it all. Bodies in the sand, tropical drink melting in your hand. We'll be falling in love to the rhythm of a steel drum band. Down in Kokomo, Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go? And then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. We gotta go. Martinique, that Montserrat mystique. We'll put out to sea, and we'll perfect our chemistry. And by we'll defy a little bit of gravity. Afternoon delight, cocktails and moonlit nights. take Kokomo. Now if you wanna go and get away from it all, go down the Kokomo. Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go down the Kokomo? We'll get there fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. Way down the Kokomo. Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go?
Revving up your engine, listen to her high and low. Metal under tension, begging you to touch and go. Highway to the danger zone. Riding through the danger zone. Heading into twilight, spreading out her wings tonight. She got you jumping off the deck, shoving into overdrive. Highway through the danger zone. I'll take you riding through the danger zone. You never say hello to you until you get it on the red light low below. You never know what you can do until you get it up the line where you can go.
don't know if it's weird to get emotional about the start of fall camp, the first NFL preseason game. But damn it, I get emotional when football is happening. Because, guys, while we're doing this show right here on a Thursday night in early August, the Ags are on the freaking practice field. It's happening right now. It's crazy. They're out there right now, honing their craft, going through reps. Damian Sanford is out there going through reps. It's freaking football season, guys. Every time we do this show, I feel like I have to announce it because it's so surreal every time this sport we love comes back. And again, we got this nice season right ahead of us. Right now, in August, it's all ahead of us. Guys, welcome back to the show. Today, I want to talk some expectations. That is a scary word, expectations, because that's kind of where you will base your emotions off of for the year, base how you feel about every win and every loss. And this is a point that they're making on the practice field right now. It's that they have to double down on success. That's what they did last year. They found a lot of success, 11-0 start to the year. And it didn't finish to anyone's liking, but damn it, that's a lot of success for this program that we have not seen in quite a while. And if we have seen it, it hasn't been repeated. So my question today to you, and I'll answer it myself in a second, what does success look like this year? I know we have dreams. I know we have aspirations. I know we have records we want to see. But what will satisfy you this year? That's my question to you. Is it 11-1 again or nothing? Or do we need to build on that? It has to be undefeated this year. A playoff win is needed this year. Or do you think, you know what? I want a 10-2. I want double digits, but shoot 9-3 right now with where we are as a program, that would make me happy. Or are you one of those folks that's like, just beat Texas. That's all I care about. I just want to beat Texas. That's not where I fall. I'll tell you where I fall right now, but I really want to hear from you guys because I want to feel what this fan base, what, Aggies feel about this team because we're in such a unique spot that doesn't come around very often. And that's, again, doubling down on what you just did. And that's their challenge. That's what they're on the practice field right freaking now, honing their craft to accomplish. Yeah, it's here, and we get to talk about it. Guys, welcome in, welcome in. The call-in link is pinned in the chat. You guys know how this works. Click that, you'll enter a waiting room, and I'll pull you guys in one by one to answer this question. But you know the rules. We can talk about the topic, but really you can talk about whatever you want once we get to the call-in portion. I'll give you my 10 or so minute take on expectations this year, what I want to see, record-wise from this team. I think there's reason to shoot high this year. There's proof of concept there. But can they do it? And should we absolutely expect, the next the next step is just doubling down on success, but the next step in winning a playoff game, is that where we should be looking right now? I don't know. We'll talk about it. Would love to hear from you guys, and I'm going to talk to you guys. I told you I'll roll call in the chat. If you chatted in, we're going to answer all your questions and everything you said right here, right now. BTTS, not here right now. Might not be able to make it, but y'all already know how I'm feeling. Hope everyone has a great night and weekend if I'm not able to pop in later. Well, that was nice of him. I don't think he's here, but good to hear from BTTS as usual. Kalachi, Matt, good to see you. UNSA, howdy, fall camp in full swing. Aggies looking good. Yeah, man, we got fall camp clips yesterday. We take everything with a grain of salt, right? Like we took the weight increases with a grain of salt that we got on the roster that was uploaded on the website a week ago. But man, they look good. Tommy Moffitt's working with them. That's one part of the battle, right? Their off-season work, that's what they get to go improve their football craft with. They have the luxury of going in bigger, faster, in some cases leaner and more athletic, stronger. And they get to go improve with that. But, yeah. Lit Sparks, howdy. Glad I can make it to this one. Good to see you, Lit Sparks. Bryce, nothing better than the smell of fresh cut grass in August. Oh, baby. It's about that time. Asian Persuasion, let's go. Good to see you. Dead Messenger, great to see you. Trying to consume as much football content as I can, says Jeb. Yeah, aren't we all? It's drinking through a fire hose season. We love it. We are so back, baby, says Ryan. Mason, good to see you. West Texas, good to see you. Everyone's high on Elko, but not the team. I don't know about you guys. I've been seeing a lot of playoff predictions coming through on the internet, and I haven't seen A&M on a single one. So, a little bit of a sleeper. I think, A&M obviously came out ranked 8 in the inaugural, or the first coaches poll of the season. I think that's a, somewhat fair, maybe on the upper edge of what I would think A&M should be ranked preseason ranking right there. I think there's kind of this clear tier of surefire contenders going into the year. A&M's task will be to break through into that tier. I think they're right there at the very top of tier 2 waiting to break in because we're pending some new faces on the offensive line, and I think that's a pretty big deal. But You know, you're not going to get a lot of love right now, Jeb. That's very true. You're not going to see it. But I think the love for Elko, the belief in this program, is indicated in that 8th spot right there. And even, you know, people who are not as high on A&M as that coaches poll, there's still some respect for A&M hovering around that 12 to 15 range at worst. Yeah, I mean, you'll lose 10 players to the NFL, but you're still getting that love. You still bring enough back. There are some absolute strengths to this team, which we're going to talk about today. There's a reason to be high on Elko, and everyone pretty much is. EHM checking in from Denver. Good to see you. Blackout intro screen. Yes, we had to go with it. Art, love the show. First time catching it live. Well, thank you for stopping by, Art. Good to see you. John Peroni, Mr. Pibb. Great to see you guys. James Ellis, Carson Beck in the Hall of Fame game. Hey, Will Lee's in that game right now. Will Lee got a pass breakup and did the classic sheathe the sword celebration like he did his whole career in Aggie land. Great to see that tonight. Jesus and Cowboys, good to see you as usual. The Nez, great to see you. Can't wait for football season to start. I know, man. You know, I'm savoring this time of year, though. I love talking season. I love anticipating and trying to kind of predicting what your team is. I love fall camp intel and whispers. This part of the year is fun, too. We're in it now, as far as I'm concerned. Trez, long-time listener, first-time caller. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Trez. What's up, Drew? I have 2 questions. 1, do you think Marcel Reed is a Heisman contender? 2, are you going to any games this year? I believe I'm going to the first game of the year versus Missouri State. I love the opener against a cupcake. I don't mind it at all. You go in, you take care of business. You kind of just sit back like this. You watch the game. You know, hopefully you're seeing some third-teamers by the third, fourth quarter, and you just know you got a full season ahead of you. So I will be at game 1. The other one I'm eyeing is game 2 against Arizona State. That's an afternoon game, right? There's a lot of good games week 2. I kind of want to be here live with you guys watching the whole slate that day. That one's to be determined. And beyond that, I don't know. I'm eyeing the Tennessee game. Do you think Marcel Reed's a Heisman contender? I think he can be. I don't think he's in the top 5 day 1, but his task will be to earn that because he was there last year. And he can get right back there, and if he just keeps that consistency throughout the year, he can stay there this time. Exciting dark horse piece if you want to throw some money at it. I think that'd be a fun one, Mason. And if he is, look out for the Aggies. So pumped for basketball, football, and baseball, absolutely. Any guests you plan to have on the show? I think we're going to have some guests after the big games, kind of sporadically throughout the year to kind of reflect on the year as we go on. We're not doing it preseason right now. I'm doing all the preview stuff myself right now, but I'm thinking week to week we're going to get some people in. Good question, Lit Sparks. Who else is in here? Question, are you more confident in special teams, specifically the kicking? Absolutely. Obviously, another year of development for Tyler White. Had a really good year the year before in 24. Maybe a slight step back last year, but I think, you know, an offseason after kind of going through some stuff last year, I think he'll be better. And Olano, man, that's a great piece to get. Has had some high-level kicks in the Big Ten, has hit some game winners for Illinois. Yeah, I feel really good about this, especially compared to last year when even your short stuff by the end of the year was a coin flip. So I think at worst improvement, at best, pretty damn good in the kicking game. Return game could be exciting too. We got some skill position this year, guys. As you know. Grounded Turbo, great to see you. James Ellis. Bradley, secondary that could rival the early 90s. One can hope. Absolutely one can hope. And you know what? There's a damn good chance this thing is looking good. It's looking deep. I think people like a Tawfiq Bayer, like a Ricky Gibson, like a Julio Humphrey are going to emerge this year, like a Jordan Shaw. Bryce Anderson's back. Who knows what he can do in his 5th year? Yeah, that's going to be a stout group. And it's going to help Elko do what he wants to do with this defense. Especially when it comes to drawing up some pressures, knowing you got some faith in the secondary now. Annabelle Collins, good to see you. Let's go, Drew. Howdy, Ag. Let's go. Howdy, Drew. Let's go, Ag. So pumped for football season. Absolutely, Annabelle. Great to see you. Matt, you got to get the heck out of here with that. You got to get the heck out of here, Matt Myers. We're heading for the danger zone. Absolutely. Last question, and I'll take my answer off the air. What home game do you think will be the most electric outside of TU? I got to go Tennessee, the blackout in November. Can you imagine Kyle Field, mid-November, blacked out, real stakes on the line? Because I think A&M's have a lot to play for by the time November comes around. I think the season will really kind of be determined in November. Going into that game in the home stretch, knowing what you have right there in front of you and ahead of you, right, you know, with OU and Texas looming, I think that's going to be a sight to behold and kind of a precursor to what we're going to see in the last game of the season at Kyle Field. Tress, great question. The dude is here, Art. The dude's been here the whole time. The reason we play some music at the start is this show's live, And it takes people a minute to kind of step into the show, so I don't just start it from the rip because people will be coming in late. So this just gets people, the most people possible here at the start of the show. Danger Zone. Yeah, dude, if y'all have watched the channel from the 2022 season, Danger Zone's probably the most played song on this channel. I used to play it for all of my pregame predictions. Or, yeah, I would, like, do a little skit with Danger Zone. It's a whole thing. Go back and watch, like, my Arkansas preview from 2022. That's one of the games we won that year. Lost a few of them. Noble Guy. I got a scratch and damn it, it needs itching. You're about a month out. It'll be itched very soon. Red Rambo, great to see you. Getting Sanford back week 1 would be huge. It would be crazy, man. I don't know about week 1, but I'm so much more confident in the timeline now after getting the update we got from Elko. At least one playoff win. Okay, there's our first prediction coming through. All right, I want to hear this from you guys. Let me know how you're feeling. I'm about to give you how I feel. Need a strong November. Yeah, absolutely, Matt. November's everything this year, as it always is, but, I mean, it just ramps up. No more Citadel in November. You're playing OU and Norman the week you're playing the Citadel usually. 10-2 in a playoff run deeper than the first round. Could care less if we beat Texas or not. Okay. Make the playoffs again, and I'll be happy. Yeah, I'd be very happy, too. I think we need to go 10-2 and get a playoff win. The right 9-3 or 10-2, which is playoffs. Big if we beat Texas, that'll be a cherry on top. The ultimate cherry on top, absolutely. 9-3 minimum for me not to be worried and still be 100% with the Elko process. Yeah, I think I might agree with you there. I doubt a 9-3 team will ever make the playoffs unless it expands more. Yeah, that's the thing. I threw out that I thought a 9-3 SEC team would make it this year, and one might, but you got to have a stacked schedule. You got to win and lose the right games, and there's got to be a little bit of chaos around you. Really a tough place the SEC put themselves in with the 9-game slate, but hey, I still think they're going to be double-digit win teams in this conference, and I don't think it's impossible for a 9-3 to make it in, but there's not really a precedent for it, so it's tough. I've been talked down from that. I was kind of on that train, but, you know, I have been made re-aware of that the committee can't be trusted. Not going to expect a breakout team after we lost, after all we lost in a 9-game conference schedule. Well, all right, guys, I'll read some more off in a second, but I think now's a good time, since y'all are talking about it, for me to talk about it. So, guys, thanks for being here. Like and sub to the channel. Shout out RHOBACK. They're still sponsoring the channel. Athletic wear. They just dropped a whole new A&M line. Go check it out. Links in the description. But let's talk about kind of the baseline this year. Like our hopes and expectations, our hopes and dreams, but also just what's good for Elko. What would mean this team is still on the right path to go forward? Like, we don't want to go 8-4 again. We're done with that. It was just freaking August 4th. And there were like 3 outlets on X that said Happy A&M Day, August 4th, 8-4. That's ridiculous. We're done with that. Start with the goal here. Double digits is absolutely the goal. And it is absolutely attainable with this roster. And yes, with the 9-game SEC slate. Obviously, you're coming off of a playoff appearance, an 11-0 start. We want to replicate that. There are some strengths in this team that we know we're going to lean on, right? Someone just alluded to it. This secondary is going to be stacked. It's a really, really good unit. I think maybe one of the best in the conference. I think OU and Bama are up there too. I think this is a really, really freaking good secondary, as I'm sure you guys agree with. And I think that's just going to help Elko with the blitz or with the deception, with the pass rush, everything he likes to do on third downs. I think there's going to be faith in the secondary to kind of bring maybe an extra body down to that box, knowing you got some dudes out there to hold their water, to hold their ground against high-level receivers, and really let Elko paint that muddy picture that he does to really mess quarterbacks up. That's the biggest strength of the team, I think. And, of course, I think this pass rush, like this group of players, the athleticism in the linebacker room, I think this defense as a whole, you know, we got to see some emergencies at the nose position, but I think this defense is going to be really good this year, guys. Offensively, you know, you got a lot of skill positions with a lot of ability. One of the best receiver rooms in the country. I don't think there's a question about it. You know, just the guys you know at the top, and then the amount of depth you have, guys that could emerge, like a Terry Bussey having a breakout year, we hope. Looked really good in those images we got yesterday. Of course, grain of salt. Like a TK Norman who we've seen, and like an Aaron Gregory who had himself a spring. But we know a few things have to come together to get to this double-digit marker that, you know, we're all aiming for, we all hope for, we all think we can accomplish. It's really 3 things. I mean, everything has to be good, but these 3 main things we're looking at. The O-line has to come together. You know, 4 new starters, whoever it might be. You might throw guys with a lot of SEC experience in there. You might throw guys from within. We'll find out. That has to happen. Marcel Reed has to take that next step. He can help an O-line out with his mobility, his ability to extend plays. He has to take that step. And then Holmon Wiggins has to be that guy. At least, be good. Because I think he has enough tools out there where if he's good, this offense could be really good. Doesn't have to be like the best offensive mind we've ever seen, but go out there and show in a year one, you can be that guy. And then 10-2 against this schedule, man. Not even replicating last year. Not even going 11-1 again. 10-2 with a 9-game SEC slate. That's like a top 5 team in the country, I think. I think that would put A&M in a home game, maybe even the SEC championship game. And I think that's attainable. But let's talk about some challenges. 9-game SEC slate, we know. Not only that, it's going to alternate the amount of road games versus home games you get in a given year. A&M draws the tougher end of that in year one in this new schedule. 5 road games, 4 home. Your road games are difficult. LSU, Alabama, and Oklahoma are probably 3 of the top 4 teams you're going to play this year. In fact, I would say they are 2, 3, and 4 toughest teams you play this year. Missouri and South Carolina, kind of shrouded in a little bit of mystery. I think they both have some pieces. They could be interesting. Some tricky games on the road. Got to defend home field. Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee. I'm looking at A&M to sweep those and, of course, get that 4th one versus Texas. So the road split is tough this year. That's there. And then, of course, as we all know, the churn on this offensive line, specifically the roster a little bit, but really the offensive line. 10 drafted, 13 invited to the combine. That's a lot of talent to lose. And specifically with the offensive line, that is a hard position to just, hit the ground running with that many new starters. It is a very chemistry and cohesion-driven position. So there's a lot of things going on. And, of course, Wiggins and Marcel Reed, they have to take the next step. I think they will. But there's just a lot of factors that are going to be challenges this year that A&M will have to overcome. So 10-2, 11-1, the absolute goal. But I think the floor that would signal that Mike Elko still has this thing going the right direction is 9-3. I think it's an acceptable floor. This is my opinion. You guys might not agree. I know some of you do. I read off a couple chats that do. But after that churn and against this schedule, I think 9-3 would mean that Mike Elko is still very much trending up. 8-4 would be the stall. I already told you guys, we're not doing it. We don't want 8-4. Now, I'll say, you go 8-4 and you beat Texas. I know that sucks. We would probably still be pretty happy on that day. But let's not go there. Let's not look at 8-4. Let's not go backwards in kind of the win-loss column. I know 9-3, 10-2 is technically backwards, but I think all things considered, a 9-3 season would still be a good signal for Mike Elko and this program. And speaking of Elko, speaking of this program's trajectory and arc right now, we know Elko's model of talent acquisition. It's pretty clear that high school is still the base here. This isn't a all-out spend on the portal to flip your roster year over year. He's going to plug and play with the roster. And you can see the O-line brought in SEC experience, didn't bring in the top offensive tackle, didn't bring in the top guard that was available. They're bringing in a bunch of talent to compete, and I think there's a good strategy there. But you look at the Jimbo to Elko transition class 2024, those guys are just juniors now. They're going to be seniors next year. We have his freshmen on campus, and that's more of an indication of what his classes are going to look for. And then 2027, that's the first high school class that he's not playing from behind with. And those guys are going to be upperclassmen in 3-4 years? So if he can plug and play in this portal, go 11-1, make the playoff this year, find a 10-2, make the playoff, where are we going? We could be going somewhere really, really special with how this 2027 class now on even playing field is looking. Has a very good chance to be the top class in the country. I think Elko has this thing the right direction, and I think a 9-3 would absolutely still be on that upward climb. But it's the portal era. No excuses. At A&M, with the resources and the pull you have, you're in striking distance every single year. So let's see how this team strikes after making the playoff last year. But I'm here to say 9-3 still shows you're going the right way. Do y'all agree? Do y'all disagree? Call in. The link is pinned. I want to hear from you guys. I'm going to read off the chat and everything y'all are saying about my spiel. I'm sure some of y'all disagree with me. And that's okay. I know we're allowed to aim high. You're totally within your right to do that. I would not scoff if you want to go playoff, make the playoff and get a playoff win. double down and exceed what you did last year. Let me see what you guys are saying. Spicy Deluxe, good to see you. Oh, we got chat going crazy here. Salty Matt, good to see you. South Carolina's probably my dark horse. I have Tennessee underachieving this year. Still going to be a good game, a very important game. I'm not sold on Elko's defense until we stop the run. That has to be a main focal point. I just think with the changes, Hemphill and Elko at the helm now, kind of just moving on from some old philosophies, some old voices, moving to some new athleticism at the linebacker position. I think we're going to fit way better at safety. I think, guys like TJ Searcy, DJ Hicks are going to improve a lot. I think Anto Saka, he has a chance to be really firm in the run game with how he bull rushes and how rigid he is as an edge rusher. I think there's a chance it could happen. 10-2 to me will all depend on how good the O-line is. I absolutely believe. Then I believe that's true. The Nez says 9-3 feels right to me. Okay. Bradley says, question, we say 9-3 doesn't get it, but what if only one SEC team is 10 or 2 or better? 2, 3, what's the minimum of 4 would look absurd? That's the thing. I mentioned that if enough chaos and things around you happen right, I think 9-3 becomes more realistic. And Bradley, I think you're describing one of those cases. Because there is a world where, say, a Georgia is the only 2 double-digit win SEC team, and you just have a pile of 3 or 4 9-3 SEC teams. Remember, every SEC team is guaranteed another loss this year. So I think in that specific scenario, unfortunately, you would see maybe an extra SEC team left out, but I would be shocked if 1 or 2 9-3 SEC teams don't get in with what you're describing there. That's the case for 9-3. Now, A&M, they don't have the top 5 schedule in the country. I think they come in the 8th toughest schedule in the country. And of course, like the top 22 is all SEC teams. The whole 16 SEC is in like the top 22, I believe. I think the way your season ends, if for whatever reason you lose 3 games early and you end on this streak that includes Tennessee, OU, and Texas, that would be A&M's argument, because there's going to be some recency bias there. There's going to be some what have you done for me lately style points for the committee there. That I think that could be A&M's path. Plus, I think OU's a wagon this year. I think OU's fighting for playoffs in November this year. I think Texas probably is too. I think Texas is probably the toughest team on the schedule. I'm not sure if they're going to have the best record on the schedule because they have a really tough schedule. They're non-cons Ohio State. So I do think that you're going to be playing some de facto playoff games in November, and that could be A&M's path to making it at 9 wins. But of course, a lot of people telling me there's no way 9 wins cut it. What do y'all think? If we go 8-4, I'm back into hiding. Absolutely. Please not 8-4 again. As a guy who does think beating the rival matters, 8-4 might not be worth it. Dude, give me 9-3 with a loss to the rival. I don't want 8-4 at all. If we go 9-3, we have to beat TU. I could take a loss to TU if we went 10-2 in the playoffs. Yeah, that makes sense to me, James. We should not settle for mediocrity in a program like A&M. We're better than 8-4. I agree. 8-4 is the stall. It would be the negative marker, I would think. And a lot of people are saying A&M is going 8-4 this year. A lot of national people are. So this is Elko's chance, somewhat under the radar, to prove that wrong and further prove himself. We said the same thing where we couldn't defend the pass. I trust Elko. Yeah, that's what it all comes back to, right? You trust Elko. You trust the talent acquisition, the evals, the development, which we're seeing, just by bodies. That's only one part. We got to do it on the field, though. If we all really believe we could always go 16-0 national championship, look, I can't write it off, man. I can't write it off. I cannot do it. Tawfiq Bayard will single-handedly stop the run. Dude, he's going to make some noise this year. He absolutely is. Exactly agreed. But yeah, unless strength of schedule changes for us, we probably still need to be 10-2. Yeah. Like I said, I laid out the scenario, Bradley. I like the question. The narrative is looking awfully familiar. I'm not sold on Texas. They were preseason champs with the Heisman quarterback last year, and look where it got them, the Cheez-Its Bowl. Yeah, I think it was way overblown preseason for Texas last year. I mean, I'll do a Texas preview in a couple of weeks because I want to preview all of our biggest opponents. I think they got a good team, man. I think they're going to be really good this year, but they got a tough schedule, and they got to end the season in Kyle Field, so we will see. We're better than 8-4. We have to prove it. Narrative is very similar to last year's. All right, guys. Thanks for chiming in. If you want to keep chiming in, jump in on the calls. I got 3 folks waiting. Click that link, and I'll get you in. Lit Sparks, good to hear from you, man. How we feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling good. I'm glad to be on the show this week. I wasn't able to make it last time.
Absolutely, I missed you, man. Well, how you feeling about the team? And if you want to kind of give some answer towards the questions we're asking today, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm feeling like 9-3 is pretty fair. It's a good. I think. I mean, I know it would be seen as a step back, but I do think it's the most fair for the schedule we've got. As for the schedule, I'm glad it's one of the tougher looking ones, just because I would love to prove if we can do it again and somehow win. If we win 11-0 at that point, people at least know Elko's progress is not a fluke.
Yeah.
It's beginning momentum. We're in a very weird spot where A&M always had the money, but now with NIL, it plays into our favor. We have a spot where Elko's got really good eyes at catching talent, and I am excited personally more on the hires for coordinators, just because I think some of our coordinators got a little complacent with their play calling, and that got him a head coach at K-State. And the other one, I'm okay with him being at Kentucky, and we just show that Elko was always meant to be the guy that needed to play calls
Yeah, I think you're
or
right.
call the plays.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, and I think the NIL piece is good. I mean, we saw in 2022 when NIL was just coming around and A&M was ahead of the game there, the kind of roster they could put together. Now that fell apart in 2022, but now you marry the A&M, money machine, everything that A&M is so attractive to beyond the money. Like they know Kyle Field game day atmosphere is one of their best selling points. Elko's talked about it. We got to get players in for games. Like that is everything, and we're showcasing Kyle Field front and center on these visits, and that is such a pull. But now you marry that plus the NIL and the evals we're getting from Elko. And I've said this like a dozen times already in this short preseason, but look at who Elko's brought in within his first 2 years or developed and got into the NFL. 10 guys last year, many of which were guys that he brought in and did it quickly, like a Cassius Howell, like a Casey Concepcion. I mean, a Tyler Onyedem, bringing him in and just really taking him to that next level. And he's going to keep doing that. He's going to do it in short order. And very soon, we're going to get the payoff in high school. I mean, we're going to start seeing it now. Those guys are sophomores and juniors now. Soon the bigger classes, the more fleshed out classes are going to rise and become mature and real players on this team. And you're really going to see what this Elko eval and the A&M NIL and just attraction machine can do to build a program. So it's super, super exciting, man. So 9-3, yep, we're okay with it. But of course, we're shooting for higher, right?
Well, of course. I will say I like where we get LSU. I think for Lane Kiffin, who always has done pretty well for a transfer portal, I really am hoping that Cushion's going to get the O-line gelled in by that time, because that could be a difference maker. I mean, I know the O-line's what we're going to be, but at that point, if you get your O-line gelled after facing Kentucky and some SEC talent to then play LSU, I'm going to feel a lot more confident, because here's the one thing about Texas coming back. I just don't want people to sell the tickets. I was at the last one at Kyle Field, and I've just thought there was a little more orange than I'd like to see. And personally, it would be better if we could make sure that we build the hype, we finish the job, but also anyone we compete in Texas in terms of recruiting, we get them to that game, and the fan base just takes over to get them to be like, yeah, I'd rather join that guy.
Yeah, dude. It's a massive head-to-head recruiting showdown in the state. And then, of course, you're going to have a high-stakes November game, I would think, versus Tennessee, a game that we might feel good about going in, but still has all the stakes riding on it, an opponent you can't hang on your laurels against. And that'll be a big showcase with the blackout and Kyle Field and the jerseys and everything. So I look for recruiting to spike later in the year. Of course, you're going to have the red, white, and blue game versus Arizona State. And I'm with you. I like the LSU placement. Obviously, everyone knows LSU is playing that emotional game versus Ole Miss the week before. LSU will have played Clemson the week before. Who knows what condition we get LSU in. And I love the A&M ramp up going into it, like you said, for that offensive line, for Marcel Reed to dip his toes in the water. Missouri State, you get your warm up, and then a couple of teams that can present challenges, and that'll hopefully keep A&M sharp, without having to completely unload the chamber. But all right, Lit Sparks, man, it was great to hear from you. I'm sure I'll hear from you again as the season goes on.
Oh, for sure. And congrats again on getting recognized. You're turning heads, and I'm glad that they're catching on to this show. hopefully, if we do make it to playoffs, we'll see some familiar faces from other fan bases coming in.
Absolutely, man. Love it, Lit Sparks. You have a good one.
Have a good one.
We have a $9.99 from the Nez. Nez, appreciate the support, man. That means a lot. What are you guys saying? 8-0 to start, probably 2-2 in the final 4 games, 10-2. Obviously, I would accept that. I would love to beat Texas in that 2-2. But I think starting the season, I'll bring the schedule back up because I figured we would talk about it this show, so I got it queued up. I think, like, you start Missouri State, Arizona State, Kentucky. If you want to do what you think you can do this year, you're winning those 3. And then at LSU is a big, kind of pivot point on the year. Arkansas at Missouri. Got to mind your P's and Q's. Arkansas is going to play you close. You know how it goes. Win the game like you always do. Almost always do. Beat Citadel. Big one at Bama. But right there, 7-1, 8-0. I mean, this November, I'm going to keep saying it. I'm not saying it's a bloodbath because A&M's losing. I'm saying it's a bloodbath because they're going to be a bunch of teams A&M's playing that might have their playoff dreams on the line, and that includes A&M. So this November is going to be a showdown, man, and I do think everything's alive in that bye week. Whether you lose to a Bama, lose to an LSU, I think 7-1 at worst right there, and you're playing for everything come South Carolina, Tennessee, OU, and, of course, Texas. Texas and Oregon are always overhyped, but I can't deny both teams are always super talented. They're very talented this year. Talent profile, they're top right now, getting guys back, bringing in the Premier Portal guys, whatever. They have it going. Neither of those coaches have proven it yet, so we'll see, man. We'll see. I love getting Texas in the last week, man. It's about that time. 2 teams in Texas made the playoff. 1 team scored a point, either based in Austin. Clear top 3 programs with a clear order. Let's go. Y'all are fighting off Matt in the comments. I love it. We were the closest team to beating Miami besides the literal national champs. Bro didn't even watch. Yeah, gun him. Get him. Get Matt. Yeah, I mean, we played in a hurricane, too. The Winds, neither team was scoring a lot of points that game. The question I have is if something happens to Marcel, like what happened to Le'Veon Moss, how are the backup quarterbacks doing? I know Brady Hart works well in the pocket. Hopefully the O-line is up. Brady Hart looked good in the spring game, but I don't want to cross that bridge at all. Marcel's the guy. We need Marcel to be the guy. But, I mean, obviously losing your quarterback is going to knock you down a peg. Everything changes. So, knocking on wood, not going to happen. Not going to happen, Kelly. But it would be a massive blow if that did. Remember we had that string of years where it was quarterback injury after quarterback injury? That tanked a couple of years. BTTS, you made it in. Good to see you, man. All right. Let's bring in UNSA. UNSA, how we feeling tonight, my friend?
Hi, Howdy. How are you doing today, Drew?
Doing good, man. Another week closer. What's on your mind?
Oh, it's coming. So I got it's only my second call-in show, but first I gotta say, I really appreciate, we got a little topic here. Gives us something to talk about. So I saw that earlier. I jotted down all my thoughts.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah, I try to give a topic, a basis for conversation. It always helps. It helps the conversation.
Yeah, and I like these call-in stuff too, because every time I like have a take and I try to write it down, it just keeps getting longer and longer and more like absurd.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, I just wanted to say earlier today I was doing like a little shotgun shooting competition, and I didn't win, but there were a couple of SIPs competing, and I did beat all of them. So representing.
Bravo, man. We thank you for this.
And then, but anyway, as far as I'm getting a good season for Texas A&M in 2026. To be honest, I think the national media is so absurdly low on us. I mean, obviously, there's some homers. We got us, and you're not going to find anything negative on Texags. And then some people are more moderate. Like I'm a big fan of the Rock Boys, and they're pretty middle of the road on us.
Yeah.
But then it's like Vegas. What is it? Was the win total 7.5? Wasn't it like the exact same last year?
For A&M, like it's 8.5, I believe.
Is 8.5? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I guess that's not as low as I thought it was.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, if you're listening to like random Instagram accounts and like the people getting up who think they know everything and really have no inside knowledge, you'd think we'd struggle to win like a couple SEC games.
Yeah.
I've seen so many like record predictions of us like losing to I don't know, like just half the schedule, and no predictions getting us into the playoff. And you'd think like you'd think that like the only football that Marcel Reed has played in his entire life is the first half against South Carolina. You'd think the O line that we're coming in with is going to be like 4 true freshmen and a walk on, but like, you know, these people don't know anything. So what I'm saying is obviously the goal for a good season is always, win the natty, get to the playoff, something like that. But really what you just want to see is I'm talking like 9, 10 plus wins.
Yeah.
Because again, I said it earlier in the chat, but like we're Elko's Aggies being mediocre is beneath him. We got to show the world why that extension was deserved. And, as like the most hated team in college football, no season is going to be good enough for quote unquote the media to like be satisfied.
Right.
But why do we care what they think,
Yeah. And if last year, I know you're going to get a lot of talk about last year being, a product of the schedule, this and that, and that's probably factoring into people's decisions. But I'll say this about last year. Yeah, we were going into the year, we thought it was a really, really tough schedule. It just didn't work out for a lot of the teams on the schedule. But A&M took care of business in games that, A&M maybe hasn't in recent years. A&M didn't skip a beat. It took playing some of the most talented teams in the country for A&M to lose games, and that's the next step. But in terms of just holding your water and not losing half your SEC games like you were talking about some people picking us to do, I don't see an Elko A&M doing that. I don't see an Elko A&M slipping up to a lot of these, maybe the Tennessee game, the Kentucky game, the Arkansas game, like you see teams slip up. I don't see a slip-up factor for Elko. Now, any team can get you. It can happen. But I don't see that being a trend under Elko at A&M.
And like exactly. Something that I wanted to note, and I have this written down, is last season we played 6 teams ranked ahead of us in the preseason.
Yeah.
Right? So clearly these things don't mean anything because anything can happen to anyone. So I mean the record might not reflect how good this team is, but it also we might go on a crazy run. None of us really know anything. We're just doing our best.
Yeah. And a lot of lean on just what we think Elko has accomplished or what he's doing, what we think this staff is. I mean, Adam Cushing, I think that's as respected as a coach if you ask Aggies in this program because, I've said this a couple times. Like, think about this O-line the years leading into, the 2024 season. It was pretty brutal for a while. He comes in, just flips the script. All of a sudden, the O-line is a plus piece for the team 2 years running. There's a world where he can do that with some new characters this year, just because we think this is a really, really good offensive line coach. Trooper Taylor really elevated Le'Veon Moss. Le'Veon Moss, had the athleticism, the strength. I think he had some unsung speed. But under Trooper Taylor and with, the new look offensive line under Cushing, Le'Veon found some patience. Le'Veon found, just the ability to find the holes, the soft spots of defenses and really play off of his blocks. So, and of course, Holmon Wiggins. You got Mario Craver coming in, kind of an unsung piece. ABR developing. Concepcion, a first rounder. You got guys getting developed here. So that bodes well, even if you're replacing chunks of this team like you are. So I think Aggies, obviously we're going to be a little bit higher on the team than the rest, but I think we see firsthand and know the names of who they're bringing in and what they're able to do with these guys. Because I'm pretty sure, like, people don't know about ABR, and ABR had himself a damn good second half of the year last year. I think people don't know about, bringing both safeties back. I think people don't know that, you brought in a Ricky Gibson who they didn't see last year because he was hurt. They have a Julio Humphrey fighting for that spot with him, a guy that's very experienced in college football at Georgia and played a little bit last year at A&M. I think they see the Des Ricks. They might even look at, say, hey, Bryce Anderson's still around. But I don't know if they know Dalton Brooks and Marcus Radcliffe. So I think there's a lot of just people that are going to prove themselves on the field this year, and that's really, really exciting. But all right, UNSA, any last points here before I get you out?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, and this might be me being a bit of a homer, because I won't lie, I try to put my bias aside, but it's not working. I honestly think that this A&M team might be better than last year's A&M team. I know we lost a lot of key pieces, but the people that are really on the inside, like all the players and the staff that are like coming out, and obviously they're using some coach speak, some media day speak, but it just, everything exudes that the people that are in the trenches, they get it. They think that this team's great. They think that they believe in everyone around it. So, who am I to disagree with them,
Yeah. Absolutely. There's some real belief in the structure here. But all right, UNSA, appreciate the call, man. I'm sure I'll hear from you before too long. You have a great night, man.
Yes, sir. You have a good one.
And to his point about this O-line and maybe being better, I mean, we'll know a lot by the LSU game. I mean, what if you start the year 4-0? What if you go into Death Valley and you take care of business, obviously, first, Missouri State, Arizona State, Kentucky, and you go into Death Valley with all the new talent there and all the new excitement, whatever has happened to LSU up until that point of the year, and you go in there and you find a way to win. I mean, are we going to be scratching our head about the O-line at that point? I mean, you have a chance right away to prove to the country what you're capable of in 2026. And I love the way the schedule lines up early. Of course, November's tough, but I think you can silence a lot of doubts just by doing this within the first month of the year. And it hits you right away. It's super exciting. Casey, I joined the chat late, and I saw y'all talking about SC. Sellers is such a lethal quarterback. He could take a jump this year and be one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. Dude, yeah, of course. Like, you don't have to tell us about freaking Lenora Sellers. I mean, for a half last year and in 2024, dude was a freaking Heisman-looking player out there. They bring back like a three-headed monster, him, Dylan Stewart, Nick Harbor. I mean, that is a great base to kind of start with when you're looking at that team. I mean, I think South Carolina, they have a chance to be pretty good. I don't know about their upper-end players on defense, but I know they're going to have some depth. I think there is a step forward for South Carolina that makes that game coming out of Alabama and a bye week very tricky. SEC Sean with the $4.99. Good to see you, man. Love the show and the content you bring, Drew. Best Aggie content creator there is. Everyone hit the like button. That's very kind of you to say. There's a lot of good ones out there. I don't know if I can just go and take that title, but I really appreciate the gesture, and I really appreciate the $4.99. Thank you, SEC Sean. That means a lot, man. All right. We'll get to the next caller. Noble, how we feeling, man?
Oh, we are so stoked. Yeah.
We are so stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, there's football happening right now. Like, the team is practicing as we speak.
Yeah, no, like I said last week, you feel that, itch on your skin, and you just gotta scratch it. And we get a little taste of it with the beginnings of fall camp. So the next few weeks will go a long ways to really help us, know what to expect.
Yeah.
But just speaking of expectations, that's kind of where, like, I think a lot can be said. Like, you can be disappointed with the way the season ended last year, but there's no way people predict us to go 11-1. I think you and I were like relatively optimistic with last year's schedule, and we still and with the exception of only one person I could think of on your call-in show or during the chat, can I think of someone who said like 11-1?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for this year's schedule, I think I have utmost confidence in maybe one more team this year than I did last year. I don't see OU or Texas being bad teams this year. I don't see that. But I could see Bama and LSU being not as difficult as things seem right now. I mean, time will tell, and they probably will be, but I think those could be opponents that A&M goes toe-to-toe with, if not could be, and we could feel good about it. But, yeah, I think just having 9 of them makes it a little bit tougher, but things aren't always as they seem with the schedule.
Yeah, I think what makes this year's schedule more difficult is the amount of toss-up games, like true 50-50 games, or even like more like 49-51 games. In those particular instances, like Oklahoma, Alabama, us being on the road against those teams, it's going to be pretty difficult. That being said, Alabama doesn't start a new quarterback, and Oklahoma, we have to see what they do at offense, but I'm kind of bullish, at least on Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So I do have 9-3 for the season. I think it all depends on 9-3, like I said. I think because if we didn't play a 9-game schedule, I'd say 10-2. But like it's just a lot of questions going into the season. I think like the cupboard is not empty by any means, but then also you don't necessarily have like it's hard for me to visualize like if we somehow get in the big what do you call it? I was about to say if you get into the top 12, into the playoffs, like having the roster to compete with like a Notre Dame or Ohio State this year, because I really do think like we are going in with like we lost a lot. Like I can't think of an area where we might be elite at. Like we could be elite at. Like I think wide receiver and secondary could truly be up there.
Noble, I want to make a point because I think you say some interesting things there. Like the cupboard is not bare. This is we like to highlight the O-line as a group that needs answers. We like to highlight Marcel needed to take that step. You got new coordinators, but I mean, why not look at the freaking strengths of this team? I do think the receiver room is elite. I do think this secondary will be elite. In fact, I think that secondary, plus some of the tools you have in the front seven, could make for an elite overall defense. And of course, you got to take steps defending the run, but I think overall athleticism, players having been through it last year and having that weakness very much on the forefront of their mind and on tape, I think they will take steps in the running game. So you can look at the O-line, you can look at the questions, but look at these freaking strengths on this team, man. Like that, the receiver room could be world class. I mean, that top three right there, Mario Craver, one of the best performances on the entire year against Notre Dame. One of two 900-yard receivers on A&M last year. Helmed by Marcel Reed, that quarterback was able to generate two 900-yard receivers, lead a team to the playoff. And I know Marcel has questions to answer, and you bring a quarterback that needs to take a step, but you also bring an experienced leader who is a playoff quarterback. So the cupboard is absolutely not bare. There are sharp, fancy, nice tools in the cupboard. And I think we could also look at that and say, hey, A&M can be a threat. Absolutely can be.
No, 100%. Yeah, I actually do like the upside of the wide receiver room this year better than I do last year, just because like KC was fantastic, but size is and speed is going to help a lot this year.
You have a
And it
much
sounds
more
like,
fleshed out receiver room. You have the
Yeah,
true
yeah, I
X,
think Zay-
yes, and Isaiah
Yeah, I think-
Horton. Yep, you got.
and then
you
I
got
think
your deep
ABR is going to
threat,
take a bigger
yep.
role too.
ABR, the deep threat. You got a true slot and Craver who can do a lot of things on the football field. You got a potential gadget guy if Bussy can take that step, and then you got an exciting room behind it, man.
Aaron Gregory, yeah. What do you think about the? Because I'm trying to compare and it's none of this is in a vacuum. You gotta you deal with the current landscape as is compared to like every other team. But what do you think about say like the linebacker room from this year to last year? Is it? I can't tell if that's a step up or step back. I don't think it's a step back, but I can't tell if it's a step up either.
Dude, I am so intrigued by this linebacker room. It's such a good question because you lose Torian York, and that's the big loss. You lose Scooby, but you were really without Scooby last year. And
Yeah.
Sanford, I mean, was he a top 3 player on this defense last year? I think he was.
Yes.
I think he
Yeah, I'd
was.
say so.
It was Howell, I think Regis and Onyedem, and then Sanford was right there. And I think losing York is a big deal in terms of being where you need to be, being the green dot player, just getting players aligned and seeing plays before they develop. But I think you can surpass what York did on the field. Nothing against York. We love York. York was great here, especially for his leadership. But I think you're going to be so athletic at linebacker. I mean, Noah McHale, he's grown, man. He's a freaking man now. He's going to be a big-time player. You bring in Ray Coney, who's a unit, 240 pounds at 6'2", bigger than Scooby Williams. I mean, you bring in experience. You bring in the 6th leading tackler in all the country, a team captain at Tulsa. I mean, I don't know if he's the guy, but he's at least in that room playing and giving us meaningful reps. You got Jordan Lockhart, another year developed. I mean, you got Tamarian Watkins, who's done nothing but turn heads since he's gotten here, and he's put on size. I'll make the take now. I think the linebacker room is better this year without Torian York, and that's not because you're losing York, but I just think the guys they have here are going to take that step, and I think it's just such an exciting room.
I think you're deeper as well, and that and I think that kind of goes across the board that we have depth across the board. So if the SEC with a 9-game conference schedule is going to be a true war of attrition, where people are going to get beat up and people are going to sustain bangs and bruises and injuries, I think A&M is about as suited as anyone other team, or even better than, because a lot of the teams have brand names, cream of the crop guys, but then for example, Texas went out and got cream of the crop guys, but they don't have a lot of depth behind them. If obviously no one wants injury to anyone, but I think we're best suited to be able to weather those kind of storms with the amount of depth, especially this fall camp, because everyone knows knows jobs just because you have it for a day doesn't mean you have it tomorrow, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's going to be an intense fall camp, especially once the pads come on, because everyone's fighting for a spot right now. So much competition across the board. All right, Noble, I'm going to get you out of here, man. Great call. You got me on my soapbox. I think you have a knack for doing that, for getting me to rant about something. So I appreciate that.
You got to ask the right questions.
I know. You always get me going. All right, Noble, I appreciate you, man. You have a great night.
Absolutely. Gig 'em, everybody.
Gig 'em, Noble. Okay, let's see what we're saying. Grade 8 I just remember we have E-Rob back coaching the DTs and T-Will coaching the linebackers. I think those two guys are slam dunk upgrades and two of the best position coaches in the country. I totally agree with you, man. I mean, we don't even talk about E-Rob enough. It's almost like we're used to having him around because he was around for so long. I could see that paying dividends. I could see the linebacker group with a new voice being completely transformed. I think at A&M's worst on defense, he had some bad fits at the linebacker position, safety as well. I think that stuff could be enhanced with athleticism and a new voice in the coaching room. We lost Scooby, but we pretty much went most of the season without him. Exactly. And that was the Sanford story, right? Sanford stepped up and just was awesome, man. And now he's back. Cupboard filled with cups. Yeah, I guess the shiny tools don't go in the cupboard, but you could throw tools in your cupboard, so good correction. Casey, in my opinion, this Texas A&M team could easily make the playoffs. Ruben Owens needs to take a jump. Love Morrow. O-line needs to gel, but Coach Cushing is elite. Love the depth of the O-line as well. Wide receivers are elite. Yeah, depth across the board is absolutely a strength on this team. In a 9-game slate, like, that's probably more of a benefit now than it ever has been, right? Like 9 SEC games, you're still playing in Arizona State in the non-con. Not a cupcake by any means. I mean, there's a little program there with Kenny Dillingham, and you can sustain nicks and knacks. You can sustain some blows. God forbid, you don't ever want to see that. But I think you talk about the depth of the O-line. There's depth everywhere. You look at the secondary, too deep at every position. Tawfik Bayard coming off the bench potentially. Bryce Anderson, I think, backing up Jordan Shaw at nickel. I could see Tawfik Bayard playing nickel. I think they're looking at him as a safety, the safety of the future. But corners, both corners have a reliable backup, whether you're looking at Julio Humphrey or, Ricky Gibson, whichever one ends up starting. Brandon Arrington backing him up. D-line, deeper this year than last year. We talked about it in the last video, one of the last videos. You were very stick to your guns with the D-line. You played like your 3 guys at D-tackle and your 3 guys at D-end, and you rarely spell beyond that. I could see this team attacking in waves. 8 guys contributing, 9 guys contributing on this D-line. Linebacker, we just talked about it, more deep. O-line, we got like 8, 9 candidates right now. We don't know who the main guys are. You got to figure that out. Depth there. Receiver, we know there's depth there. We know we have exciting pieces. Maybe not known at the top, but I mean, Bussey's 4, Aaron Gregory's 4 or 5. That's right there. And then beyond that, TK Norman and a whole young room that could be really exciting. So depth is absolutely a strength, man. I'm talking myself into a better year. Talking season's dangerous, man. Depth is really strong on this team. Like, you spell it all out. Some really good stuff. I loved what Owen said yesterday, by the way, at his presser. He was asked what he needs to work on. Very on the nose. Ruben Owens said, I need to stop falling down when I'm trying to break away. It's like, yes! Thank you, Ruben. You see it. Of course you see it. This is a well-coached team that looks at the tape and understands what they need to do. I love it from Ruben Owens. DJ Hicks looked transformed, looked like a different, mature dude in his presser. I love that. I mean, here I am gushing over practice press conferences. Welcome to August, folks. Kalachi Matt, how we feeling tonight, man?
Oh. I am outstanding, sir.
Feeling good? Pour the scotch?
I got this. I'm almost out, man. I'm about to do a refill, but
I got a little bourbon here. A little sipping on the bourbon.
Yeah, got that. Got both boys firing away in football right now, so
nice.
I've got football on the brain.
Yeah, dude, great time of year, man. How's that? How's being a football dad?
Well, I mean, shoot, this is like year 10. It's actually it's about my 10th year doing it.
Oh, you're a veteran.
Yeah, I'm a veteran. Yeah, so we got one taking pictures tonight as a sophomore in high school, and we got the other one moved into college, doing the D2 football. So
you're in prime football years. That's awesome, man. Congrats.
Yeah. So, just wanted to jump on real quick and talk a little Aggie football.
Yeah, how you feeling? Topic of the day or wherever you want to go.
Well, you stole a little bit of my thunder when you were talking about the depth. That was one of the things I was going to mention is, honestly, outside of Marcel Reed going down, which pick a team in college football where the starting quarterback goes down and it doesn't affect him.
It's a massive luxury if not.
Is there really another starter, if something were to happen to him, that we would be really hurting? The only person I could think of is maybe like Mark Naboo at center.
Yeah, that's a good one. Naboo, I don't think you would be dead in the water if you lost a running back, but you really have 3 or 4 you're looking at right now. I think you really want that whole room. But there are 4 guys there that I'm looking at when you talk about Owens, Morrow, and then I'm anticipating KJ Edwards and Tiger Ryden to have roles. So I would say maybe a little bit at running back, but not devastated. 4 is like baseline. Like you're like right there. But dude, I'm with you, man.
Yeah, well, plus you got the Carson Baker. It's
Yeah.
apparently looked real good. So I mean, you've got options if heaven forbid. I'm not advocating for anybody to go down, but just
Ace Man says
it's
kicker. You're
football.
shallow at kicker.
Oh, okay. There you go. You always forget the special teams guys.
Yes. Tell me about it, dude. I always forget to talk about them. But yes, totally. Great point, man.
But and then you were someone earlier I think mentioned going like 16-0, and it just made me think like go back to 2012. Johnny wins the Heisman. We go 11-2. We played 13 games. We went 11-2. And we still, as fans, we still go back and like watch those games on YouTube or whatever. And we lost our minds that year.
Yeah.
Can you imagine this fan base if we went 16-0?
Dude, I'd be watching the replays like weekly for the rest of my life. I mean, I watch the Johnny year seasonally, like once a year. If we go 16-0, it's just on repeat in the living room. And I'm talking about it every day. I'm tweeting about it every single day.
I can't even imagine what it's like right now being like an Indiana Hoosiers fan.
Dude.
And what they got to experience over the last 12 months.
And we had it tough. They were hopeless. They were the least winningest team in all the country of Power 4 teams.
To hang their hat on. Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, just happy to jump on. Really happy that I posted earlier for you. Glad that you're getting the recognition you so deserve.
Thank you,
hopefully your whole thing just keeps growing.
That's the plan, man. That's the plan. Yeah, I'm trying to grow it. I'm trying to bring more people in. Like, the bigger this chat gets, the more people we have call in, the more commenters we have, the more people we have in here. It just makes these shows that much more fun. And I see a bunch of regulars that just always come back. Like, I see a few on the screen right now, including you. It's just really cool to build this community. That's what we're trying to do. That's why we give you all the mics. So really appreciate the words, Matt. I really appreciate your support.
Yeah. Well, I'll jump off. I'll let someone else get in there and listen to them, but just wanted to jump on and say, good job, and, onward to the next call-in show.
Absolutely, man. We'll keep bringing them. All right, Matt, you have a great night.
You too, brother.
Good stuff. That is the last caller we have waiting. If anyone else wants to get in here, I'll take another call or two. If not, I'll read off some chat, and we'll get out of here. So any questions in the chat, I'll read them off right now. We got a couple more minutes. Love the honesty from Ruben. It's not too common to see. I think it just shows that these coaches and the team is in the right place. Like, DJ Hicks was asked how day 1 went, and he was like, it was all right, man. We got a long way to go. It's like, we've heard from media days to now that they're not resting on their laurels, that they got to be hungry. That is the task at hand, to stay hungry, to be starving and fight for it and just be committed to improvement, because last year wasn't enough. It was great, not enough. What's the next step? And I think some of that was in Ruben's comments, being brutally honest about himself. Is Ruben reading our comments? Is Ruben reading what we're saying? Is Ruben peeking at the chat right now in between practice? Because he hit it right on the nose. Love to see it. His body looks great. He looks athletic. He should be one of those guys that gets more distance from an injury, gets another off season beyond the injury, like a Mark Naboo this year. I think that's so important for players. Like a Terry Bussey. I know he's banged up in spring, but had this full summer to go, was full go in winter, and you see his body, at least his body is transformed. Like, what does that equate to on the field? It's really exciting. The DT's gaining weight hopefully helps us stop the run better. Yeah, Angelo McCollum is a guy I'm really looking at now, because Angelo McCollum comes in from Illinois, kind of really explosive. That was his thing. Like, he could move around in the slant game. He was really athletic. He could get around guys, but lacked a little bit of rigidity, looked a little bit light for what they were asking him to do. But 17 pounds up, looks really stout just in the pictures we're seeing. I think a guy like him, a guy like CJ Mims who put on 10 pounds. I think DJ Hicks is fully leaned into that 3-tech role. I'm sure there'll be multiple. I'm sure they'll move him around. But his body's transformed. He's much more chiseled now. If you look at him now compared to last year, just a lot leaner, a lot more just jacked looking. Money year for DJ Hicks. I'll say it again. He needs to get his knees up. Would like him to run like Roger Craig, knees to chest. Yeah, and he knows it, and that's great to see. I think Owens will be our short yardage back and Morrow the bell cow. Well, there was a stretch in the year where Owens was a reliable guy to get in the end zone. You think about, some bad defenses in there, but Missouri, he was, had some short yard stuff and punched in a long one. Obviously, Arkansas. I mean, they were going to him at those moments because Le'Veon was down and E.J. Smith took some of that too. But, at 215, it looks like his weight kind of stood pat. I think it's 210, 215, but just a little bit stronger, a little bit, less body fat, more muscle. I mean, you don't really look at your room and say, we got some massive guy like Tiger Ryden. I think he's like 220. He could be that guy, but he has to prove that. He has to show that. It might just be Ruben Owens by default. And remember, last year, Nate Borkisher would get the handoff in some short yard situations. So look at like a Mike O'Reilly to do that. What if they give it to Coyote Armstrong and say, go be Coyote Armstrong and move 3 yards forward? I mean, who knows? The running backs definitely need to step up this year. Yeah, man, I think Morrow's going to have a fabulous year. I think Owens, I think people forget how good he was in that stretch before he got banged up going into the Texas game, and he knows it. Not just the banged up factor, but where he needs to improve. Owens had a really good stretch. He averaged like 5.5 yards a carry. Sad Dolphins fan, finally made alive. Good to see you, man. Hatton, the one that flipped to Oklahoma. Yeah, they're looking at him as a year one contributor over there. He has some good size. Ryan says, I really hope Ruben Owens steps up this season. I was very hyped for him coming out of high school. I think, man, he has a chance to do it. This O-line is going to have the most say with the running back room, I believe. And yeah, good point right here. They said we're solid in the running back room. It's got to be an indicator, right? How they feel about this running back room, how they feel about Owens, Morrow, Tiger Ryden, KJ Edwards coming in, all these guys, that they didn't add one. They didn't go to the portal. Then they will add where they think they need to. There's no position group that's safe from that. They will do it. Look at the O-line. Like, there were a bunch of guys that probably maybe thought that it was going to be their turn next year, but they bring in all these guys to compete. They didn't do that at running back. They're like, we like what we got. We're going to run these guys. To me, Owens has a slow first step. Let's see what he does this year, man. I think he's going to look a little bit transformed. I don't know, like, Owens going to have a 1,500-yard year or anything like that, but I think Owens is going to show us at least another gear. Like I've been saying, I'm bullish on the running back room as a whole, because I think Owens is part of that Morrow. I think it's a great 1-2 punch, and I really have a feeling Ryden and or Edwards are going to have a say this year. Morrow's looking really good. Yeah, man, he is looking really good. He's fun to play with in the new game, by the way. I got the game, and we're going to play it in a couple weekends. We're going to do the whole A&M season live on the channel. I do think KJ breaks out if we need him to. I think he'll have a role this year. I have a feeling, man. I would call him, but I'm going to call it for the people. All good, man. We can just go through the chat here and call it a show after we're done. I'm an East Texas guy. I watched him steamroll through the playoffs in Carthage. Morrow or Edwards? Or who you talking? KJ Edwards? Yeah, dude. Beast in high school. Absolute monster. Like, speed guy with some pad level and some pop. It's great to see. Edwards has great speed. I think he has a chance to get RB3 carries or screen. Yeah, they went like 4 deep at 5 deep. Moss, Owens, E.J. Smith, Amari. They played 4 regular, and Morrow. They went 5 deep last year. You will see 4 running backs if they feel like they have them this year. You will absolutely see them if the scenario calls for them or if the spell calls for them. Piggybacking off Kalachi, says Michael. We have bodies at DT, but the only difference maker is probably Hicks. Hard to believe more than one difference maker DT, but that stands out to me. Yeah, that's a fair point. And last year, did we have a big difference maker at DT? I thought we had 2 just anchors out there, Onyedem and Albert Regis. But I don't know if they were like big play pop guys. I don't know if they were guys that would just, shuck off an offensive guard and just get a tackle in the backfield. That wasn't their forte. 2 gappers, Onyedem could cover some ground. So could Hicks. So could Regis. Just super athletic for his size. So I don't know if we're losing that. We're losing experience. We're losing great 2-gap ability. We're losing just solid defensive tackles. And you're bringing some in that I think can at least replicate that. And you're right. Hicks would be the guy to bring it up to the next level. My prediction is Hicks isn't the starter by midseason. I don't think that would be a good thing. I think we really need Hicks to take that step. I don't think that's a great thing. DTs don't necessarily need to be a bunch of difference makers, though. Just need to hold it together and support the team. Absolutely. I mean, if you look at it this way, they're the blockers for the linebackers, right? They're the ones that kind of occupy space, make sure it's harder for these double teams and these combos to combo up to the linebacker position, really let Noah McHale, really let Sanford, Coney, Lockhart go to work, let the safeties come down and make their plays in the run game. You know how Elko does. A lot of cover 4, a lot of run support from the safeties, and I think D tackles and what he's asking of them, that's what they've done, and that's what they can do with this skill set we have. And then Hicks is the one that is the big play guy. Like, you look at his best games, LSU 24, Notre Dame last year, he was the guy that could just make a play on a dime. I guess I'm higher on Hicks than most. I think he's going to be a monster. Big swing piece, I would say. He's a guy that can carry some upside on this defense. KJ is similar to HN. I can see it. You think the Colorado transfer takes his spot? Brandon Davis Swain, I mean, he is fully leaned into the probably nose or 3-tech position. Like, he is blown up, dude. He is blown up. I think he played some defensive end in high school. Not anymore. This dude is a monster-looking guy. He's like probably the most physically impressive D lineman we have in terms of just sheer size. Like 6'4", probably like 317 right now. He might have a role. I think he's one of those guys you bring in from the portal that's like, he could help now, but you have him for like 2 or 3 more years. His time will come if it's not right away. And again, go watch Colorado versus West Virginia, where Brandon Davis Swain absolutely dominated the game for like a quarter. It was crazy. I saw one from Sad Dolphins fan. I'm way behind on chat. Y'all are doing a great job throwing in a bunch of good questions here. I don't know if they already said it, but do you think ABR or Terry gets the wide receiver 3 job? I think your trio, my bet would be it's X is Horton, the Z or the outside, like the deep threat guy is ABR, and then Craver in the slot. But I also think with this offense, and this might be a video coming up or a live show, like how it might look differently with the personnel and with Wiggins at the helm. I think we're going to see more 4 receiver this year, and that's where Terry Bussey can come into play. That's where like some gadget stuff with Bussey can come into play. They could bring Bussey in on 2 or 3 receiver sets and have him do specific things that other guys don't do. Maybe he can take some handoffs, man, with the way he's looking and just maybe get some runs going, because looking like a beast, Bussey. But I would say ABR is my pick for if you're going to kind of tier him out. Wide receiver 3. I think ABR, like, obviously ramped up last year. ABR had a lot of buzz coming out of camp, but it took him some time to gain his footing. And then we saw it from like the Arkansas game forward. It was like this for ABR. What if that just keeps going through summer, through fall camp, and now? Like, you could have a serious deep threat weapon in ABR. Like, that could be, like, I wouldn't be surprised if ABR led this team in receiving yards this year. Like, he has that upside in my eyes. Fastest player on the team by the account of many players. I mean, the real weapon there. But then again, Bussey could be a guy too. Aaron Gregory could be a guy. That's why we're so high on this receiver room. Terry is such an underrated blocker. Jimbo would have loved him. Jimbo and his blocking receivers. Yeah, he's a great blocker, dude. And now he's even bigger and stronger, so it's huge. I think Swain's going to be underrated. He has potential. He could be, man. Will just joined the stream, so apologies this has been brought up, but I'm really excited to see Bussey come into form this year, hopefully. He looked like a different person in practice. Yeah, I mean, like, I'll keep saying it. Grain of salt with practice clips. He did gain weight. He looks really freaking athletic in practice. But, you know, I think, Will, when you combine what we're seeing physically from Bussey and the fact that he didn't come into last year with a healthy offseason, and his freshman year, I believe he was also dealing with injury in that offseason. This was a true Tommy Moffitt winter and summer for Terry Bussey. That could be so huge for him. And we're seeing it in the physicality in his body. If that translates to the field, yes, man. Which position groups are you bullish and bearish on this year? You know, I'm an Aggie, so I'm going to look at everything through maroon-colored lenses. But if you're going to make me go binary with it, I would say I'll go with the groups that are like kind of, you know, could go either direction. I'm bullish on the running backs. I'm bullish on the linebackers. If you had to make me pick, I don't know if I'm bearish on the O-line. I just acknowledge that that's the one area I think could hold us back. But I have this trust in Adam Cushing. So if you made me pick one just for the sake of the argument to be bearish on, it would be O-line, just because I know what that takes, 4 guys like coming in. But I don't know if I would actually, like in a real conversation that wasn't just this exercise, Noble, come out and say I'm bearish on the offensive line. But I don't know if I answered your question or just danced around it there. Jeb, you're coming in, hauling in the rear, riding caboose. You're going to jump on last minute. What do you got to say tonight, Jeb? Are you going to talk some trash tonight?
Maybe, man. I know it's been a while, man. It's been a while since I called in.
I know you. It's been maybe a year. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I figured it's an opportunity. I'm surprised there wasn't a lot more callers. So
Yeah, yeah.
Figured I'd jump in. Man, I'm just so excited, dude. The season's almost here. What are we, like 3-4 weeks away?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, man. It's all I think about.
Why was this offseason so fast? I don't know why it felt fast for me. I mean, maybe it was.
Thankfully, man.
Yeah. Oh, no, Jeb. I'm losing you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you back. You're on that Dollar Tree internet connection, right? Walmart
Hey,
parking
man.
lot?
So I figured it was the best, so I shouldn't have any issue.
Nah, dude. You're trying to stream this from the Walmart parking lot on their Wi-Fi, aren't you? Oh, Jeb. I can't do the call, man. It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Can you hear me?
I got you right now.
Okay.
Ah, too bad, Jeb. We'll try again later. I lost you again. If you can like maybe move over to Starbucks parking lot, I think they have a little bit more bandwidth on their Wi-Fi. I know the house Wi-Fi is way too spotty to run, but if you want to go to Starbucks, they might have some good Wi-Fi for you. Type in the chat, Jeb, if you want to try again. Can't wait to see Terry take more snaps out of the Wildcat. Get him to throw a pass, man. You know there was a play where there was a read for Terry there. If it was there, he could throw the pass versus Notre Dame. It was like a wide receiver reverse, but it wasn't there, and you could see his eyes come up, and he tucked it and kept running. So there was a plan there early that they kind of went away from as the year went on. But I think Terry could throw a pass, high school quarterback. Terry could do some interesting things. I just hope Marcel can land those long throws this time around. Yeah, started the year real shaky with the deep ball. It kind of got better as the year went on. The offense went away from it a little bit, but Florida game, even versus Miami in the wind, he got a deep one. But if that comes for Marcel probably left like 500, 400 yards on the table, a few touchdowns early in the year, missing some deep balls to KC. If he can hone that in with a guy like ABR, Horton, even Craver, man, can add a lot. All right, Jeb, let's try it again. Last try.
Can you hear me?
Got you right now.
Sorry, man. That Starbucks parking lot, it's brutal, man.
I know. We sound okay right now. Let's see if we can get a take out of you.
I know, man. Minute, so, oh man, dude. So, which games are you gonna go to this year?
I'm thinking if I had to pick right now, Game 1 and Tennessee for sure, and then beyond that, we'll see. I'm planning on streaming every away game. We're going to have a watch party for all the away games because I have so much fun with those. Chat is always electric during those, so y'all can rely on that. But I'm thinking Game 1 and Tennessee would be awesome.
I'm waiting for the NCAA gameplay, man. I've been waiting for that.
Couple more weekends. We're going to go with the whole A&M season.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. I was thinking about going to the Arizona State game, but I don't know if I want to do 11 a.m. kickoff. Like, I can't decide, man. Like, I want to go to that game. I think it's a great matchup.
I have to look at the schedule because week 2, man, there are so many good games that weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'd rather just watch that and like go out. I think Ohio State and Texas play that week, right?
They should play that night. Yeah, I mean, we could do like an all-day watch party here, and you probably
Gotcha.
you like to go to the bars and watch the games. And that's
Oh
cool
yeah,
too.
usually for like the bigger games, I like to go out and like watch the actual game. So
Yeah. I think we go here and we kind of watch that game. We start the day. Hopefully we win, and we're just sitting here watching all the rest of the games. That's my plan on week 2.
Did you end up doing that live stream with the Oklahoma people earlier? I think I tried watching it, but I didn't find it.
Yeah, I did one. I did a show.
Oh,
it was the one you saw, right?
You did a second one, right, or just the first one?
I just did the first one. I put out an OU preview video.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it.
I was like, what else would y'all talk about? But
Yeah, no. I wanted to give my own like preview to OU.
they love to bring up that 77-0 score, dude. They love to bring that up. I was watching it and I was like,
It came up like within the first 3 minutes.
I remember watching that game as a kid. I remember watching it with my dad, and that's the one thing about Bob Stoops is that like he likes to run up scores on people. Always has.
Yeah,
he
absolutely.
always has. And A&M that year, if I remember correctly, that was Friend's first year. A&M had a massive turnover rate with like all their seniors.
Yeah.
And I think A&M had like one of the youngest teams in college football that year. They played like a bunch of freshmen, true freshmen. Very bad football team that year. It was a very sad season.
And the year before, I believe in 2002 was the year that A&M knocked off number 1 OU, right?
That was the game. See, I've always watched games with my dad, because my dad was always a fan. And that was probably the game I watched live with my dad that, like, I really got into football. Like, I always liked football growing up, but I didn't, like, love it. I was always a baseball guy, but
yeah,
that game, like, really, like, watching that game live, that game got me into football. And I became an obsessive fan ever since.
Well, if you're going to bring up '03 like out of nowhere for all these Aggies to have to relive and think about 77-0, can you at least talk about 2013 to wash that taste out of our
Oh,
mouths?
dude, we could have scored so much more points if we wanted to.
Dude, I mean, if we scored more in the first half, I mean, dude, it was
That was a
nasty.
great way. I remember it was like the end of like I think it was New Year's Day, right?
I don't remember. It was right around there. It was, yeah,
Yeah, I
Cotton
think
Bowl,
it was
so-
I think it was a New Year's back when this was a New Year's Six game. It was a New Year's Six game, and man, I just remember. I think OU was like a Big 12 champ that year too.
Yeah.
I think they won the Big 12 that year.
Yeah.
Dude, annihilated them. It was close the first half, annihilated them. We could have easily scored more, but yeah, I said that's the game I remember. Is the 41-13 game.
Exactly, and that's what we got to replicate this year.
I don't
dude.
care what anybody says. A&M that year, to me, once they beat Alabama, they were the best. They were the best football team. I think if we would have played Notre Dame in the Natty, this is all theory here. If we would have played Notre Dame in the Natty, we would have beat them.
There's an argument that was the best team on the football field down the stretch of that season, 100%.
Oh yeah, dude. If we would have beaten either Florida or LSU, we would have gone to the SEC championship. I think we would have won.
All right,
I
we're
think our
sounding,
team-
we're sounding like Uncle Rico right here.
We're sounding like homers, man, but I don't care, dude. That team was phenomenal. I mean, we were by the Alabama game, we were like untouchable.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. God, I got to go rewatch the whole season now that we talked about it. We're talking about watching, like, I got to watch all my football movies, and I got to go watch the 20.
Oh yeah, I told you
year.
we're dude. Like this season, I just don't know. Like all I know is I don't want to hear anybody say when all these teams, because all the teams we play, there's gonna be teams that underperform.
Oh, yeah.
So when our schedule gets easier, like midway through the season, I don't want to hear anybody say how easy our schedule is. Because I remember last year it was the same thing. Because I had us going 8-4 last year.
Yeah.
I said our away record's really tough. Some of those teams are tough. It's going to be tough, right?
A&M's definitely losing to Notre Dame on the road to start
Right.
the year.
Notre Dame, LSU. I had us beating Florida, but I think you had us losing to Florida. That was a tough one. Texas away was going to be tough because Texas was supposed to be good, really good.
Should have beat them.
Can you hear me?
I got you. I just said we should have beat Texas.
Yeah,
last
I
year.
said 9-3, 8-4 is probably like the goal, but that was the first time in a long time we probably overachieved. And of course, you're good when everyone kind of talks shit about you about your schedule, which our schedule was very favorable after a while. But this year, when the same thing happens this year, I don't want to hear anybody say anything.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, there's a world where the schedule does end up being as advertised, but like I said,
Oh, absolutely.
I think OU and Texas will be good this year. That's just my pick. I don't know.
Yeah.
LSU
Yeah.
and Bama, that could go either way right now. Like, they're not going to be bad, but they might not
No,
be like
no, they'll be
playoff
competitive.
teams. Yeah.
I don't think. I understand LSU. Their fan base over there. They have extremely high expectations for their team. I mean, LSU on a pedestal, of course. But I know it's Lane Kiffin, but it's like, dude, they got a brand new team,
So much.
right? Like, you can't expect. I mean, if they go to the playoffs, that's huge, but you can't expect the guy to just turn them around. I mean, they were pretty bad the last couple seasons, so.
I mean, people already look at him as like a top 6, 7 coach in the country. If he does that this year, he's a top 5 coach in the country.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it took them Ole Miss like 6 seasons until they got to the playoffs.
Yeah. It's not.
That's-
I don't see it happening in year one. I can't write it off. I think that's an opportunity for A&M.
Right.
It's obviously a game we could lose, but I think it's a week 4 opportunity for A&M.
Yeah, I think that's bullshit, dude. We gotta play Baton Rouge 2 years in a row, man. That still annoys me. I will never stop not being petty about
Look,
that.
I'll take it over playing in Austin 2 years in a row. That's all I'll say.
Oh, okay. I mean, absolutely, dude. If we lose to Austin, if we lose to Texas again at home, dude, I don't know I don't know, man.
What if we're 11-1 with that?
That was painful last year, dude. I remember my family was here for Thanksgiving. We all watched the game, dude.
Stop.
I went to bed.
Stop. Stop there. You already brought up 03. All right, Jeb. With that, I'm gonna get you out of here, man. I can't do
I know.
it. I
I was
can't. I
all-
can't relive it. I can't relive it.
I know I'm not trying to be negative, man. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm optimistic this year, but if you want me to be like really honest, I just don't know if we're not really a champion. I don't think we're a championship team.
I think we should still try to be a playoff
Oh,
team.
yeah.
Though.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I think look, I can't look at this team with Elko, the strengths I know about, and just say that is completely off the table. I will say last year, if you remember my playoff or my preseason prediction, of course you do, because you always like to bring up that I picked us to lose to Florida. You love to remind me about that.
Come
I know
on,
you
man.
remember.
You know that was funny. You know that
That's
was funny.
That's funny. But I said this is a year where you've had guys in the program from Elko or before that have been around a long time. You
Yeah.
probably have like 10 draft picks on this team. Like I picked 9-3, but I said there is a world where this team can go 10 or 11 wins, and it ended up, we hit that side of it. That's called a stars align year, where like you just happen to have a bunch of upperclassmen that have been around a long time. A little bit less of that. It's not a young team. Like, we're not relying on youth. That's not an issue.
No, we're an experienced team.
Experienced team. It's a deep
It's just
team.
new players.
You can easily talk yourself into this team, I think.
No,
if
I
you're
believe
naive.
it. If A&M went 10-2, I can believe it. But
Yeah.
like I said, I love Elko. I trust him, but I'm not one of those guys that is like Elko can do no wrong, because obviously there are some flaws. I mean, last year, that's 2 years in a row finishing poorly. I said last year we needed more D-tackle depth before the season, and I ended up being right. Our D-tackle depth was not good. We had 3 really good players, but the depth was really
deep.
bad.
Yeah, we were
It
not
was
deep.
3 and
We
then a
sucked
huge
it
drop
up.
off.
Yeah, whenever Dalen Evans was out there, he was not ready yet. He was not.
I said we need a big outside receiver. We have 3 slot. We basically have 3 slot receivers playing. I said we need more diversity. We need more big receivers. We didn't have that last year. It ended up it hurt us a little bit.
You know what really hurt? Like, I mean, obviously, like, I think the offense took a big step last year. Like, it was good. Like, it was a good offense.
Oh yeah, it was a good offense.
But losing Noah Thomas, I think, was big. I
Oh yeah,
think
because he would have started.
that was the red zone threat. It would have been such a good dynamic with him, Casey, and Craver.
Casey and Craver would have been
played
unbelievable.
slot. Casey had to play X. He was our X. He was like the possession guy
Right.
and the slot guy and the skill guy. He was everything.
And you saw it struggle in the red zone. I mean, Marcel threw all those picks. We didn't have a big receiver,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
I said
But we have that. Now we have that.
we have that running back depth. I like the talent, man. I just don't know. I gotta see it.
That's fair.
I listen to Carter Carroll's. I like him a lot, and he said,
He's
he watches practice and he goes, Reuben Owens and Morrow look really good, but it's a huge drop off after that because those guys are not experienced.
Yeah.
I like the talent, I like the potential, but we just haven't seen it. I just wish they would have added another veteran running back from the portal. There was opportunities, and I don't know why, man. It's like we needed a power back last year, and we didn't have it.
Yeah, like I said, they didn't add a guy, and I feel like Elko would have added a guy. I think there's some belief there, but it has to come together. And you know what? Those are some young guys on a day one of practice where there's no contact. They're still in just T-shirts and helmets.
Right.
So let's let them get their
But
feet
you got to
wet and see
win,
what
man.
happens.
I mean, college, it's becoming like NFL, like you can redo your roster every year. Your goal was to try to go to the playoffs and win it every year, and you got it.
I think at A&M, they're in striking distance every year with what they have.
I believe it. I think if the team is well coached, I'm actually, unpopular opinion, I'm actually a little higher on the offensive line than most people.
Well, then you should be higher on this team.
I should, but our schedule's hard. The away schedule, playing at Tuscaloosa, Norman, man, that's tough, dude.
But who doesn't have that in this conference? Literally,
you're right.
Everyone has that. Everyone's schedule.
Hey, my mind can be changed, man. I'm here to listen.
I'm
you're
not
right.
trying to change your mind. I want this team to change your damn mind, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be as honest as possible how I feel. Like,
I love it.
I guess because like, growing up as a fan, I'm still a little skeptical at times. Last year, they actually overachieved. But this year, I still think A&M will be a very competitive team. They'll be very good. They're not going to be so on the schedule you just look at and wave off. Like,
well, before I get you out of here, like the question of the day, like what record do you want to see that makes you feel like this program is still going forward? Is it the 9-3, or do you want 10-2 to see that?
Yeah, I think 9-3 with the schedule would be pretty good. Obviously, you probably don't make the playoffs unless like crazy stuff happens.
And there's a world where that happens this year with
Yeah,
every SEC.
I believe it.
I think every like call-in show on a Thursday night right now is like, yeah, we're good, but the schedule, but we got to play 9 SEC games. And some teams are saying the schedule, we also have to play Ohio State and Michigan. Like, we don't have that at least. Like, that's good for us.
No, I agree with you. I think we're up there now with that
better
second,
beat Arizona
top
State,
tier.
dude. We cannot sleep on Arizona State. Cannot.
I know Dillingham's a good
sleepy morning.
I know their coach is good, but they lost a lot of talent, man.
They did.
They did bring in 2 really good receivers, and I think they have Hunter Boley, from Kentucky. He's going to be their quarterback.
We'll see.
Okay, answer me this. Do you think they bring out the camo jerseys in the Arizona State game?
Do we believe the leak? Is the leak real? Is it reliable?
Dude, as sick as I am, I don't want to wear those jerseys, but I would buy a jersey if they did release it.
So you don't like them, but you would have to buy them just because.
I like the jersey itself. I just don't know. I'm the kind of guy, like, I like combinations. I like new jerseys, but I don't like extreme. To me, that's like extreme.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like Oregon. I don't like Tech and Oklahoma State. I don't like how they wear New Jersey every game. Like, I like our solid home jerseys, and I think, like, the 2012 black jerseys against Mississippi State. I thought those were really cool.
What do you think of the blackout being a yearly thing now?
Oh, I love that. I thought maybe they would do that in October because of, like, Halloween season.
Yeah.
But the fact they're doing it for Tennessee is pretty awesome. I mean, I'm thinking about going to that game now, and I'm going to the OU A&M game, so I might do back-to-back weekends where I just go to both games.
Dude, that would be intense. You're going to Norman for sure, right?
Oh, yeah, because I have my buddy. He lives out there. I was in Oklahoma City last weekend, and I actually really liked it out there.
Yeah, I got a buddy that lives there too. That's cool. I mean, I don't know much about it, but I hate the Thunder. And
It's
I hope we beat
basically
OU,
just
so-
like, basically to me, it's just like Fort Worth. That's what it kind of reminds me of.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm going to that game. But if we were to wear those jerseys, what combination would you want with it?
With the camo?
Yeah, what would you think would look good?
I think you got to go. If you're gonna go camo, you can't go camo with white pants, right? You got to go camo top
Oh,
to
dude,
bottom.
yeah, you can. Go back and watch TCU. I'm sure Matt remembers this game. TCU, they played, I think, Texas in 2015. And I think TCU, they wore their chrome purple helmets and they wore like their gray camo jerseys with white pants. I thought it looked really good.
Okay. Look, dude, I'm not high on camo jerseys, but it fits at A&M, right? With the core and like the military roots and all
I thought
that,
what they
and the
should have done
band.
was they should have just done like maybe like the script Aggies on the helmet with
All
like
right.
the American flag.
I'm talking myself into it because we got red, white, and blue crowd. We're going to have the core. We're going to have the band. We're going to have camo jerseys, and we're going to look like a freaking unit out there. Maybe. It might
That's
work.
that's gonna be a circus, man. I just don't know if it'll look good. If like the camo pants, I just don't know about that.
Yeah, they'll be able to find us on the field at least. But all right,
Well, they
Jeff,
were-
I'm
Yep.
going to get you out of here, man. I got to call it a night eventually, and I got to read off a few more chats before I get out of here. But
All right,
thank you.
man. Sounds good.
Thank you for closing us out, man.
Absolutely, unit. Later, man.
Later. Did he just say unit on the way out? I love it. All right, guys. Hell of a show. Great callers. Great chat. I'm going to read a few more chats as we get the hell out of here. But you know how this goes. We're going to keep doing shows every Thursday. Call-in shows until the season begins. We're going to keep dropping preview videos as the season goes on. It'll culminate in my season prediction, where I tell you how many games A&M wins, in my opinion. It's 9 or 10. It's 9 or 10. I'm trying to talk myself into 10. Am I the only one who thinks we're going to comfortably handle Bama? They don't have a run game. Their O-line is new quarterback. They could be a disaster. I'm not sold on DeBoer. I'm going to do my deep dive on Bama here soon. I don't know exactly. I think there are things about Bama that make me feel like that is not one of the toughest 2 games on the schedule. Maybe not one of the toughest 3 games on the schedule. I think going to Tuscaloosa will be a tough place to win. It's probably a night game. It's going to be prime time. But I do like where it lands on the schedule. Citadel, Bama, bye week. It's like Bama on an island, all focus on it. I love that about it. I find it funny how Kirk Scanetti said the SEC has an easy schedule when he played 6 straight games against teams below 500, all from the Big Ten. Yeah, and then their non-con scheduling in the future. A little bit rough. A little bit of a rough look for Indiana. But hey, they're the Natty champions, so they can kind of say what they want right now until they get dethroned. Even then, Indiana won a freaking Natty, so man can talk. Hit that like button before you leave. Listen to AggieLand79. Thank you, AggieLand79. Like button, subscribe. Appreciate you guys. The content is going to be coming. You know it is. I can't help myself. I'm not sold on DeBoer either, but they have a talented roster. We play them away late in the season, so it'll be hard, but really doable. That's where I am, Will. Challenging, but doable. I would right now look at OU as a bigger challenge. Indiana canceled their ND matchups. Yeah, man. Yeah. LSU will be 5 losses. They are drama queens. I think their expectations are a little bit too high. Of course, I can't put a ceiling on them, but I don't think they hit that. I don't, like, playoff is, like, I wouldn't pick them to make the playoff right now. I'll let you know. I'm going to do an LSU preview soon. Hardest 2-3 games on our schedule. I'll rank the toughest teams. I think Texas is the best team we play. I think OU might be the toughest game because it's on the road. That's 1 and 2 for me comfortably. Number 3, I'll go at LSU. Number 4, at Bama. Number 5, it's a tie. At South Carolina, at Missouri. Tennessee's right there in that mix. That's a tricky 3. At Missouri, at South Carolina, Missouri, Tennessee, I mean. Goal should be to win those 3. I feel like Elko's A&M should win those 3. But all right, guys. Great show. I'll see you in the next one. Gig 'em.